Today we are studying my favorite subject, genealogy. So today you're going to need your maps that I've been telling you to get a hold of, and today I'm going to put a chart up on the screen. If you don't have a chart of genealogy of Abraham, be sure to just stop the video and take a picture of it, download it, and print it out if you can, because this is so important, the genealogy of Abraham. So we're going to go through that one by one, and I'm going to show you why it's so important. And we're going to start with Genesis 11, where it talks about the genealogy of Terah and his 3 sons. We talked about that when we were talking about taking Abraham out of the land, away from his fathers. Now from these 3 sons, we're going to get the 12 tribes, and I'm going to show you how that is going to happen. Let's talk about Nahor. Genesis 11:29. It says, "Then Abraham and Nahor took wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife is Milcah." Now if you look at Haran, Milcah is Haran's daughter. Now by this time Haran is dead. So Milcah is taken as Nahor's wife. Lot, if you recall, goes with Abram. Abram kind of treats him like a son. He kind of adopts him. He follows him all around the land until they split up because their herds were too big for one land to take care of. So Lot is Abram's nephew. Now Josephus tells us that Sarah, Abram's wife, is Haran's daughter. That would make her Lot's sister and Milcah's sister. Now, why is that important? Because as we go along and we study the rest of them, you're going to see where all of the descendants are stayed right here within these 3 sons, all the way through to the tribes. And I believe even through the tribes, it doesn't really verify all of that, but I believe that if he was this careful to keep the lineage within the family, I think further down the line he was too. So let's continue on. Okay, so now we've got Nahor's wife is Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran. Okay, so now let's go on, and the next genealogy we need to be aware of is Abraham had 2 sons. He had Ishmael. Hagar was his mother. She was from Egypt. He's the bad son. We're going to go good son, bad son. He ends up going back to Egypt, marrying Egyptian wives. Okay. Now his brother was born 13 years later from Sarah, and he becomes the son of promise, the heir to the throne, and his name is Isaac. Let's go to Genesis 22:23. Now Abraham has just gotten back from sacrificing or going to sacrifice his son, and then he gets word that his brother's wife had a daughter, and Bethuel begat Rebekah. Why would they mention that? So that it would plant a seed in Abraham's mind that he's going to have a future wife for his son Isaac when he gets to be older. So now from there, let's go to Genesis 24:15. Okay, and actually the heading of this chapter is a bride for Isaac. So Abraham is in his old age. He asks his servant to travel back to his father's land. That's Haran. That's in the land of Ur. To his father's land, to his brother's house, and seek a wife for his son Isaac. Do not let her marry one of these Canaanite women. It happened before he had finished speaking that, behold, Rebekah, whom was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her pitcher on her shoulder. Now, the servant had prayed, God, if this is where you want me to be, and the woman is here, please let her come out and offer water, offer her to feed my camels. And that's exactly what Rebekah did. He knew she was the one for Isaac. So immediately he says, I need to talk to your father. They agreed. And Rebekah goes back and marries Isaac. Isaac loved her at first sight. So there we go. We've got Isaac now has a wife. You see, I have them color coded there so you can keep them straight. Okay, so now Isaac and Rebekah have two sons, Jacob and Esau. Do you remember who the good son and the bad son were? Esau is the bad son. Jacob is the good son. So Jacob means deceiver. So he's kind of going to get deceived himself. So as Isaac is getting older, Esau was the hunter, Jacob was a homeboy. He wanted Esau to go find him some game and make him some stew. Well, his mother, Rebekah, overheard that, and she said, come here, let me make some stew, and you take it into your father, and you pretend to be Esau. Well, he did. He got the blessing. He deceived his father into getting the blessing, and then when Esau found out, he said he was going to kill him. I'm going to kill you. You've taken my blessing. You've taken my birthright. So Jacob goes back to Haran, the area where God pulled them out of, to Laban, Rebekah's brother, and he meets two women. Rachel, he falls in love with instantly, and she has an older sister, Leah. Now Laban tricks Jacob into marrying the first daughter first. And the reason he did that is because the laws of our land say that the oldest daughter has to be married before the younger daughter. So Jacob he works 14 years for these two wives, Rachel and Leah. And then he works another 7 years for a herd to go back home. So let's just check that out in the passages here. Now, in the meantime, before I get to that, let me tell you, Esau, he was so mad, he married two Canaanite women. Now, he's a bad son, married two Canaanite women and a daughter of Ishmael. Double bad. Ishmael's already a bad son. So Esau, to really upset his parents, go and marry a daughter of Ishmael and two Canaanite women of the land, where Rebekah says in 27:46, Genesis, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife of the daughters of Heth like this, who are the daughters of the land, what good is my life to me? Woe is me if he marries one of these women. So he marries two Canaanite women, and then down in 28, verse 8, he marries Ishmael's daughter. It says, also Esau saw the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Isaac, so Esau went to Ishmael and took Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, as his wife. Oh boy, he is really in a lot of trouble. Anyway, they all become the Arabs. They settle down near Egypt and around that area. In Genesis 29, let's start with 16, verse 16. It says, now Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were delicate, but Rachel was beautiful of form and appearance. So he fell in love with her. There is nothing about her he didn't like. Instant love, just like Isaac and Rebekah. What they did is they got Jacob drunk. Got him so drunk he didn't know who he was sleeping with. So he went into the tent, he made love to Leah, and the next morning he finds out he's been tricked. And Laban told him about the rules. So then he does another 7 years for Rachel. So you'll find that in this chapter here. Let's look at the chart. The chart here. Go over to the left-hand side and look at Lot. Now his descendants become the Moabites, Arabs. Let me tell you how that came about. The children of Lot. Abraham was visited by three angels, and Abraham recognized one of them as the angel of the Lord, which is pre-incarnate Jesus. He knew they were heading to Sodom and Gomorrah to destroy it because they were so evil. He knew Lot lived there also, so he bargains with the angel of the Lord and says, if you find 50 righteous, would you kill them? Would you destroy the city? And he says, for 50, no. And he gets him on down to 10. If you find 10 righteous, would you destroy it? No, I won't. So anyway, they go on down there, and the other two angels go ahead, And they try to talk a lot out of leaving Sodom or leaving Gomorrah before the fire hits the town and burns it all to pieces. Well, it is so perverted. The city is so perverted. These men wanted to sleep with the angels of God. So anyway, the angels kind of force Lot and his 2 daughters out, and the wife she goes to, out of Sodom. But God tells them, do not look back. Do not look back. Because look back at something, when you look back at your life and you yearn for it, that's a sin once you become a Christian. Once you become a Christian, you don't want to know about you just don't care about your past life, because God has forgiven you for everything from this day forward. He's forgiven you. It's forgotten. It's like it never happened. So anyway, his 2 daughters think, well, we're the only ones left. There's no men in the country, and we're not going to have any heirs for our father. So what they do is they get their father drunk, and each one of them sleeps with him a different night. So they end up getting pregnant, and they have 2. Each one has a boy. One's named Moab. The other one's named Ammon. They become the Moabites and the Ammonites. They are Arab people. They live in Jordan right now. Ammon, the land of Ammon, is in northern Jordan, and the land of Moab is in southern Jordan. It's all desert, but they become Arabs. Very important, because you have to know this. When they're going into Israel, when the Israelites are going into the promised land, the Moabite kings gang up against them. So very important, you have to know this story. Also Esau, let's look at that. What land did he become? He becomes the Edomites. The Edomites, okay? And why is this important? Okay, get out your map. Okay, if you look towards the bottom of the map, you see Edom, okay? Now, your map might also have to the left of that Amalekite. Amalekites were Edom's sons, okay, sons of Edom. So the land of Esau becomes Edom. Later on, it might be also called Mount Seir, it's where Mount Seir is. Also, it might become the Edomites. So knowing the names of these other countries around is very, very important, because you're going to see it all through the Old Testament, all through the Old Testament. Anytime I give a lesson, I will ask you, okay, where are they from? What land are they from? Or what tribe are they from? What tribe? If you know what tribe someone comes from, you know the history of their background, and you know why God put them in that position that they're in at that time in history. You know, we have the first kings of Israel were Saul, and if you know what tribe he comes from, he was a Benjamite. Then the second king is David. David was from the tribe of, line of Jesus, Judah. His son Solomon becomes the king, but after that, and Solomon is Judah, but after that, the tribes are divided. They're divided because Solomon had built so many temples to idols and so many castles for his many, many wives. He had, I think, 300 wives and 600 concubines, that God was going to tear the kingdom from him. And he told Jeroboam, I'm going to tear the kingdom from Solomon, and I'm going to give it to you. Now, do you know what tribe Jeroboam was from? He was from the tribe of Ephraim. Now, why is this so important? Why is this so important? Who was his mother? Who would have been his grandmother down the line? His grandmother was Rachel, Jacob's wife. Because when she fled the land of Ur, when God told them to leave the land of Ur and go to the land, I tell you, go back down to the land where Shechem, where your brother is, she took the household gods of her father with her. So there's a history there. So if you study the Bible and you take in the details, you will learn so much. There's more to the story than just Rachel becoming idols. It's the blessing. We'll talk about the blessing. It will be my next lesson. But genealogy is so important. Please share the gospel, share this video, subscribe. I'm not making any money off of this. That's not why I'm asking you to subscribe. I want you to share it. I want you to know every time I put a video out. I just want you to want everybody to know the gospel like I do. Time is short, folks. The history that's happening in Israel right now, the wars that's going on, the tensions going on between the Arab nations and Israel. Little bitty old Israel's this big. The Arab nations are this big. It's prophetic, and I'm going to talk about that here again pretty soon because it's very, very important. So please subscribe, share, and like, and let's share the gospel together. Thank you.